All right. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, usually TJ is here, but TJ is on vacation, so I'm filling in for him today. And I'll also be on the air a little bit later on tonight. It was such a great morning to work with the morning team on Good Day Orlando. Very fun start to my Memorial Day weekend. But overall, Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start of summer. And for us here in Central Florida, when we think about summer, usually it's the heat, it's the humidity, and it's also those afternoon thunderstorms. So overall, as we take a look at the rest of our Memorial Day weekend, going to be seeing more of those scattered showers and thunderstorms really start to take place as we take a look a little bit later on this weekend and a little bit later on this afternoon as well. Hey, Seth. Doing well on this Saturday. So we are live on Facebook, and we are also live on our YouTube as well as Fox Local. So Amy Anna, your pool is open, and it's going to be a great weekend to definitely stay by the pool through at least the morning and into the early afternoon before we do start to see some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms really start to take place. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Of course, it's a very busy weekend. There's a lot happening across Central Florida over the next couple of days, and of course, it's a busy travel weekend as well, so we'll talk about that. But if anyone has any Memorial Day plans, definitely let us know. We could give you a little bit of a specialized forecast with that as we're waking up on our Saturday morning as we kick off Memorial Day weekend. But of course, definitely have to remember the reason why for Memorial Day weekend for sure. If you are a veteran or know any veterans, if any veterans are tuning in this morning, thank you so much for your service, and just make sure you're definitely remembering why we do have this little bit of a long weekend right here. So overall, a little bit of an unofficial start of summer, but really seeing that summer season kick into full gear. As we do take a look, this is your forecast of what we can expect for the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. It is going to be hot, it is going to be humid, and we're also going to start to see those storms kick in across the region for sure. Taking a look especially between the hours of about 2 to 6 p.m. and then things slowly starting to fizzle out from there. So really starting to kick into the summer season as we take a look at the next couple of days for us here in Central Florida. So overall, it is a beautiful start to Memorial Day weekend, and the beaches are already packed. Not quite as busy as what we can see right here. It does seem like a few more of those cars are trying to find their spots, but a lot of people have been on the beach since about 5:30 this morning when I first checked. So it does seem that there are a lot of people planning on heading to the beach as we head through the next couple of days, and especially through the morning and into the afternoon. It's going to be a great beach weekend, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Titusville camera right now. There is a launch a little bit later on today, just after 1 o'clock, so make sure you definitely keep eyes to the skies for that. A lot of us here in Central Florida can actually see those rockets here in Seminole County and Lake Mary from our station. We can see those rockets out there, which is really exciting. So overall, light breeze over in Titusville right now, but a beautiful start to Saturday. And of course, this weekend is the first full weekend of Epic Universe being open. Very exciting. Congratulations to all of the Universal team out there. I have not been yet. I am really hoping to go sometime soon after the initial rush kind of goes through. But you can see Stardust Racers really starting to fire up this morning. Those roller coasters have been going for the past couple of hours. And then you can also see some rides in the Isle of Burke also firing up this morning as well. So very exciting. As of right now, we've been checking in on a couple of the times earlier on this morning for wait times. Things seem to be pretty low at the moment, but already seeing a couple of delays at Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic, or the Battle of the Ministry. Seeing a couple of delays with that so far. So exciting stuff, especially in Epic Universe coming up as we take a look at the Memorial Day weekend ahead. So overall, temperatures right now, 84 degrees in Orlando right now, lingering throughout the mid-80s along the coastline. Things are really starting to heat up for the day, and we're going to continue to see those temperatures get a little toasty as we head into later on. Storm tracker radar right now crystal clear. It's going to stay that way throughout the rest of the morning and into the start of the afternoon, but overall we are going to start to expect those thunderstorms to pick up as we head into about the 2-3 o'clock hour, becoming the most widespread as we head into about the 5-6 o'clock hour, slowly starting to fizzle out as we see those storms almost die off as that daytime heating and that energy starts to die off as well. So that's what we're seeing at the moment as we take a look at our storm tracker radar. Memorial Day weekend, it is a huge weekend for those, and it's the start of the summer travel season. Ooh, sorry, there's a fly in here that I just can't get rid of. So overall, as we do take a look at our airport delays, doesn't seem to be any delays here in Orange County at Orlando International Airport at the moment. That's the good news. And as we take a look also at some other airports across the region, if I can find this graphic quick enough right here. It seems that things are running actually pretty smoothly on all airports across the region. Up in Gainesville, not seeing any delays, or Daytona Beach, Sanford, and Melbourne airports look good to go right now. However, by the time we get into a little bit later on this afternoon and into this evening, when those storms start to fire up, I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to see some delays at those airports. And of course, I'll be covered there a little bit later on this evening when I come in for the evening shift, which is exciting. So brunch forecast, as we start to get into the late morning, early afternoon hours, things are going to be heating up pretty quickly. Seeing those temperatures already throughout the upper 80s going to be picking up very quickly. And we're also going to see those temperatures even flirting with the low 90s as we take a look a little bit later on this afternoon. Starting at about 1 p.m., seeing those temperatures already at 92 degrees. And if you stepped outside today, it is humid out there. My hair was nice and smooth before I left my apartment earlier on today, and of course I had flyaways were everywhere. That humidity is already pretty high as you're stepping out the door, and so it's going to only stay humid through the rest of the day, through the day tomorrow, and through Monday. We're already seeing those dew points at 75 degrees, so get ready for basically air you can wear as we head through the next couple of days. Very typical Florida summer is what we're really starting to see, and that's going to be the trend at least for the next 7 days. We'll talk about your 7-day forecast in just a little bit, but overall we're going to continue to see those beach forecasts pretty nice for the next couple of days. Here's what you're looking at for your Friday. My goodness, sorry, this little fruit fly is just driving me crazy. Where was I? Oh, beach forecast, of course. So not only are the theme parks going to be really busy for the next couple of days, but also we're going to be seeing the theme parks really busy for the next couple of days. So let's take a look at your beach forecast. It looks like a really nice beach forecast, especially if you're an early beach person like me. Getting there early, spending a little bit of the afternoon there. That's pretty much your prime time for the beach forecast for the next couple of days. Brooks and I were talking a little bit earlier on this week about surfing, and that's something that I've always really wanted to try. So he said that the best conditions for beginner surfers, or those who really want to learn, wave heights between 2 and 4 feet, wave period between 7 and 10 seconds, water temperature not too bad. So if you are looking to pick up surfing, hey, it's going to actually be pretty good conditions out there as well. Something that is going to be a little bit sneaky as we head through the next couple of days is that rip current risk. So we're right now at a moderate risk. Not completely out of the question that it's going to be a little bit on the higher side by the end of the weekend, but overall, if you are planning on getting in the water for the next couple of days, make sure you are swimming near a lifeguard. That's the biggest thing that I can stress. Also, make sure you're staying hydrated if you're heading out to the beaches, as well as reapplying that sunscreen, because as we do take a look at the UV index forecast, and that goes if you're planning on getting out to the water, boating, paddleboarding, kayaking. If you're going out to the water, or even just going outside in general, UV index is going to be extremely high today. It's going to be very high, sitting at about a 10. Once it gets to extreme, that's 11 or higher. So looking at a UV index of 10 today, which means it's going to be very high, so you will need that little bit of extra protection. Make sure you're reapplying that sunscreen, wearing sunglasses, a hat, even making sure your shoulders are covered, just to make sure that you're not going to burn as easily. Sunscreen and hydration, two biggest things that I can stress this weekend. But of course, I have to add a little bit of fun into this as well. Ice cream is one of my favorite ways in order to beat the heat. Pool is very much a close second. However, ice cream is one of my favorite snacks in the summer. So if you are planning on getting ice cream at any point this weekend, It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, so temperatures pretty much all weekend long are going to be feeling closer, if not triple digits. So today it's going to feel like 97 if you're planning on heading to the beaches today. So if you are planning on getting ice cream as well, you're definitely going to need to eat it very quickly, because we're going to be seeing that ice cream melt very, very quickly. So let's actually talk about a little bit of the timing of what we can expect for those storms today a little bit later on. So right now, things are crystal clear. It's going to stay quiet for a little bit longer, but of course, it's Central Florida. We're going to start to see those thunderstorms pick up starting at about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, really starting to become much more widespread across the area as we head into about 5 p.m., slowly starting to see those storms die out as we head into about 8:30, pretty much done by 9 o'clock. And that's really just because of those sea breeze storms. As wind comes off the ocean, it interacts with the land, and that's just what creates a little bit of a boundary. And as those boundaries collide coming off the east coast and the west coast, that's what allows those thunderstorms to almost pick up instantly. And when we see that, that could lead to a lot of lightning. It could lead to very heavy downpours, as well as the possibility of some small hail across the region. So just make sure you are being careful with that, especially with the lightning factor of what we're going to be seeing later on this afternoon. Just make sure you are staying careful, especially for heading to the theme parks, making sure you're getting inside if you do hear a couple rumbles of thunder. So overall, that's the timing of what we can expect. So if you are planning any outdoor activities today, sweet spot of where we're going to be seeing that rain from about 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Things should start to quiet down after that. But where we're going to see the most widespread rain is probably between 4 and 6 p.m. So heads up if you're planning on getting dinner outside, if you're planning on heading to the theme parks, that's really where we're going to be seeing the most widespread rain for the next couple of days. So, speaking of the theme parks, of course, Epic Universe is having their first full weekend open. Super exciting. We've been covering them all week, and it just looks incredible. If anyone's been to Epic Universe who's watching right now, definitely write in. I want to know what your opinion of it has been, if you've been to the park so far. But overall, it has been an incredible week, just seeing some of the footage that has come back from the reporters that we've sent out there. It's definitely some amazing stuff that they've done there. I'm a Harry Potter fan. When I was younger, I used to love reading the How to Train Your Dragon books. So that definitely almost like hits a little bit of nostalgia, seeing that basically come to life here in the theme parks, which is really exciting. So if you are planning on heading to the theme parks, overall, here's your theme park forecast. Expect hot and humid conditions. PM storms going to be popping up again within that sweet spot range of about 3 and 6 p.m. Today is definitely going to be the hottest day out of the long weekend so far. Seeing 96 today, 93 tomorrow, 93 on Monday as well. So it's going to be hot and humid for sure, with some PM storms along the way. And as we do take a look at Epic Universe Planner, park opened at 9 a.m., so things are already up and running. So about lunchtime, temperatures are going to be flirting with 90 degrees, but things are going to feel much more warm, not only with the UV index being so high, but also with the humidity pretty much flirting with triple digits. It's what it's going to be feeling like in the park. So very hot today. By the time we hit around dinner time, still looking at that chance of showers and thunderstorms, but by the time the park closes and those fireworks go off, we're going to be seeing things pretty much clear out very quickly. So there's your theme park forecast for all of the theme parks today. We kind of already covered the beach forecast, but one thing that I do really want to stress later on today is that we still are going to be seeing the possibility of some severe weather. Luckily for us, the past couple of days, the severe threat has been much more to the south, but today we are seeing that level 1 out of 5 up and across the Orlando area. Pretty much all of I-4 is under this level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather today. So ultimately what this means is we could see the possibility of a strong or severe thunderstorm a little bit later on today, and that basically is from the I-75 corridor up to Ocala, over to Daytona Beach, and down through southern Osceola County and Brevard County. So ultimately, we're going to watch the radar. I'll be watching the radar all day today, so just make sure you do have alerts on your phone, just in case you do find yourself in a severe thunderstorm warning. Very typical of what we see during this time of year is those thunderstorms really start to pick up. There's a lot of gusty wind, there's a lot of heavy rain, and because those thunderstorms pick up so quickly, hail definitely not out of the question. So here are the main threats for today. Wind, hail, heavy rain are the big three right here. Because we do see those sea breezes come in from the east and west coast, it does have the potential of creating a very quick, brief tornado, but that is very low today, so that's the good news right there. However, just make sure, again, you are keeping an eye on our Fox Local app for any weather updates that we may have throughout the day in case some of those storms do end up on the stronger side. But wind and hail, as well as heavy rain especially, we need it. However, that heavy rain can definitely limit your visibility when it comes to driving, especially later on this afternoon. So for rain totals, very typical during this time of year, easily pick up a quick inch of rain as we head through the afternoon. So looking here, we can see through the day today, possibly looking at about an inch of rain in Orlando as we do see this storm or these sea breezes collide basically right in the center of the peninsula. And we're going to continue to see some of that heavy rain drift off along the coastline a little bit later on today as well. But of course, we need this rain, and we're going to basically see a very rinse and repeat forecast for the next couple of days, starting to get into the rainy season, folks. So pretty much calling for that afternoon thunderstorm and showers from about 2 to 6 p.m. every single day for the next week. So overall, by the time things do start to quiet down on Sunday, we could be looking at about 2 inches of rain here in Orlando alone for the next couple of days. So overall, we're going to be looking at that much needed rain, and we were in an extreme drought 2 weeks ago, especially in areas across Daytona Beach up towards Palm Coast, towards Ocala and the Villages. But because we actually got that much needed rain over the past couple of days and even earlier on last week, we're now at a severe risk. So still seeing those extremely dry conditions. However, it's not as bad as it was just a couple of weeks ago, which is good. Still seeing those very dry conditions up by Gainesville, areas especially all across Orange County, still in that moderate risk for drought. So just make sure, again, you're doing your part to not set off any wildfires, because even though things have gotten better, things are still extremely dry out there, and especially when we're talking about the soil as well as other plants. It just only takes one spark of lightning in order to spark up another wildfire. And there are counties that still are under burn bans, even though we have gotten that much needed couple of rounds of rain over the past couple of days, which is, again, very much needed, not complaining about that. So overall, for the next couple of days, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid, but something that was actually introduced on Thursday, hurricane season, unfortunately, is right around the corner. And I feel like we just stopped talking about 2024, and now we're gearing up for 2025. So right here on Monday, something that's super exciting is that we are going to be releasing our Tracking the Tropics 2025 season preview. The storm team and I have worked so hard on this, and this is something that we're really proud of. So make sure you mark your calendars on May 26th at 7 p.m. We're going to be showing what we've been working on basically for the past couple months now. It's about 3 months we've been working on this. A lot of work has been going on, and it's something that's really exciting. This is something that we're all extremely proud of. So make sure you tune in. Monday, May 26th at 7 p.m. And something that's also really exciting, and I'm going to keep this up full for a little bit, so if you would like to submit a question, you absolutely can, because after the special airs, we are going to be answering your questions live. So with that, take out your smartphone, or if you're watching on your TV, you should be able to just take a snapshot of this image right here, and then access this through your photos if you're on an iPhone, and you should be able to access this QR code. So what this will do is this will send you to a portal, and you can submit a question for Noah and I to answer after the special airs. We would love to know your questions, or if you have any questions right now, I can jot them down and submit them for you if you type them in the comments. But make sure, again, you are tuning in, because this special was ultimately made for you. We took your questions that we got throughout last year's season and really put those into what we could actually produce for this year. And it's something that's really exciting. We're covering communities that have been built with hurricanes in mind, and not battling Mother Nature, but supporting Mother Nature and working with her. Noah's actually going into a little bit of the science of why we could see still a busy season, but not as busy as what we were seeing last year. Brooks is talking about ways that you can save money when preparing for hurricane season. And something really cool that Jessica is covering is how your smartphone can save your life, even if there's no Wi-Fi or cell service. So make sure you are definitely tuning in for that. Something that's really exciting again. That we've put a lot of work into, and then join us after the fact for a live Q&A that where we answer your questions that you submit live on all of our social medias as well as our Fox Local app. So just make sure you tune in for that. Again, this is something that we've put a lot of work into, and we are so excited to show it off a little bit later on. So now let's actually get into a little bit more hurricane information. I'll pop myself back up on screen right here. I can't believe it. I feel like we just stopped talking about 2024 and now we're getting ready for 2025. So the countdown is on. We are just 8 days away from the beginning of hurricane season. June 1st is the day. And so that's when we really start to lock in and get busy, especially when things really start to pick up. So we want to be prepared as much as you want to be prepared. We live here, we have families, we have pets, we have homes. But why we do what we do here is to protect you. And that's ultimately our biggest goal. But over the past couple of weeks, back in April, Colorado State University released their outlook. They're calling for 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, 4 major hurricanes. NOAA released their forecast on Thursday, calling for 13 named storms to between 13 and 19 named storms, 6 and 10 hurricanes, 3 to 5 major hurricanes. So Colorado State University and NOAA look like they're on the same page. That's great news. However, with that, they're still above average. However, the takeaway that both organizations have been saying is that even though this is still above normal, it's not expected to be as busy as what we saw in 2024. So that's definitely a little bit of relief for sure, especially for us here in Central Florida. It was so busy last year and so destructive last year. Seeing a little bit of that relief is definitely a good sign. Atlantic water is warmer than average already, however, not as warm as it was last year, which will play a role in hurricane activity for sure, but also forecasting a weaker wind shear in the atmosphere. Wind shear almost acts and tears apart hurricanes as they form. So when you have weaker wind shear, hurricanes have a little bit easier time of forming in the Atlantic. So that's another factor that they're going to be taking a look at. All right, so we're going to start to wrap up, but I do want to show you your 7-day forecast for the next couple of days. Rainy season is almost here, and it's really going to start to get into that normal swing of afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms for the next 7 days. For Memorial Day on Monday, looking at a 50% chance of rain. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even looking ahead into next weekend, we're going to be seeing more of those scattered showers and thunderstorms really start to take place. Doesn't look like we have any comments on Facebook or on YouTube headed into Memorial Day weekend. So ultimately, hope everyone has a very safe Memorial Day weekend. If you're getting together with friends and families, if you know any veterans, definitely thank them for their service. For that, thank you all for your service. If you are watching and are a veteran, again, thank you all so much again for tuning in on this Saturday morning, and later on this evening I'll be here again, so make sure you tune in on the Fox 35 website. We'll be on a digital show there on Fox Local, and then of course we'll be later on tonight after baseball, which is exciting. And if there's any storms, we'll be right back on here to give you the latest update. Have a great night, everybody.